Clamp, the weekly podcast where we discuss all things about creating, living, and making projects. That's why we're called Clamp. I'm the host, Grant Alexander, and joining me as always is Adam Mackey and Jesse Ratfink. And tonight, we're going to put all of our eggs in one basket and talk about the problems associated with that. And the reason that we wanted to talk about this tonight is if you've been on Instagram at all, then you have seen the hundreds of people who have been complaining that Instagram has been flagging their content as being weapons or apparently now sexualized content for the exact same stuff. But it's been a fun time watching all of my knife maker friends get their stuff de-recommended or whatever is happening. And we wanted to talk a little bit about like the dangers of utilizing just one platform. Yeah. So one of you guys now needs to talk.
You sounded like you were about to start something else, sir. So this is also something that is happening with Etsy for like maybe the fourth or fifth time since the site has, existed. There are a lot of people complaining about how easy it is to get your shop completely shut down. And Etsy is total shit. Supposedly they do have customer service now, but I think they just ignore the stuff they don't want to answer for the most part.
Right.
So yeah, that is definitely something that I'm seeing in other spheres. Because it's just, I don't know. Every few years, I feel like something really bad happens on one of the platforms or on major platforms. And everyone starts talking about it. You need your own website, you need a newsletter, you need all this stuff to make sure that you can still reach your customers or readers. And it's so overwhelming. Like I have failed at that almost the entire time that I've been on the web. I've just been on Instructables. I've completely failed.
So you're talking about like having your own website and having your own email list. It's way more work to do that. I agree. You should definitely have it. I do not. I unsubscribe as soon as somebody somehow like I start getting emails from someone about something that I was emailing with someone and all of a sudden now I'm on their email list. Immediately unsubscribe. I do not want to be on a single email list. I have one. It's Instructables. It's the only one I subscribe to, and it's only so that I can see my name at the top of that list. And it's been a long time.
I need to poke a Nicole and be like, if you ever need
Yeah. Hey, if you want a title one, because that's all he's been waiting for. I guess he needs to keep making them if he wants that to happen. But
that would also help. Yeah, I'm with you though on the newsletters. Like there is actually, okay, so there are two actually that I'm signed up for and actually am interested in. Bobo Design Studio, who is Angie, who used to work at Instructables. And then I just signed up for Audrey's, oh my God, AI, what the fuck newsletter because, yeah, I really want to see what happens there. But yeah, I unsubscribed from everything as well.
So I appreciate. So when I looked at Audrey's, it's like when there's news, I will send a letter. Everyone else is like, it's a weekly letter, and here's your weekly dose of bullshit. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't need a weekly dose of bullshit. I want it like there's something to share. Great, right? Like I know there's lots of people who when they share a newsletter, they get sales, right? Yeah. Like I know, like High Caliber Craftsman, he's like, if I push out a newsletter, I know I can get sales, but I don't do it every time because if I start doing it every week, the return stops happening, right?
Yep.
But if you got a new product to release, you push out the newsletter, right? It's the same. I've unsubscribed from pretty much everyone because I'm not their target audience. But we're getting a little off topic. Don't put all your eggs in the newsletter basket either. Like Brian House says, half your work is making the product. The other half is marketing it, right? Yeah. And you got to hit it up on all of it, right? But you got to spread it because like he's had things blow up on TikTok that made it so that people bought forges or grinders from him, and if you have a product to sell, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
It's hard though to avoid it these days because, thinking like people are not really on X, they're not really on Facebook for the most part.
It's X. Twitter.
Yeah, if I said Twitter, I knew somebody was going to say X, so I tried to do it this time.
I actually literally had no idea what you were talking about.
I'll just keep saying Twitter then. But I don't know. I feel like I know so many people who are all in on Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah.
and then they have like a Shopify store or an Etsy shop. I don't know. I feel like people don't have websites as often these days. It's more like I have a GitHub presence or something like that where they just have all of their documentation, but I'm finding it a lot harder to actually find websites for people now.
So we have a website, Clampcast. I have a website, the Grand Alexander, .com, I think. And all it is, basically, is Instagram ported over. You know what? Even going there, I'll bet you it's broken because it breaks every 3 months, and I have to every
That's
time I
why
go there,
stopped
it's
caring
broken.
about mine. It was so much maintenance. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Right. All you had to do is log in and hit the refresh button on the thing, and it was like, oh, we've uploaded the newest version. I'm like, can't you do that for myself? Squarespace, who is not sponsoring this, and I honestly wouldn't recommend unless you want to give us money, then maybe we'll change our mind. What do we call I honestly, yeah. Can you build a shitty little website in 20 minutes on Squarespace? Yeah, you can. Can it look like every other shitty website? Yeah, 100%. Do we use Squarespace? Yeah, we do.
Because there's not really much other choice.
Right. Because they're all our eggs are in one basket. But
Yeah.
that's the same with this is where monopolies are a problem, or even oligopolies, where all of your services are coming from one place, right?
Yeah.
Where we have there is very few competitors in the social media market.
Yep.
Right? That's why Twitter has continued to survive, even though I don't know a single person on it anymore, other than Stephen King.
Honestly, I think that people from Facebook and Truth Social showed up because that's all the comments now. I think we had a migration.
Right. Sure, maybe they did, but all I'm saying is, it's when there's no other options, you just keep going back to the same place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, talking about Facebook, right now, because I live in Canada, Facebook's pretty much the only place I can make money with short form content. TikTok is not monetized in Canada. Instagram has never had monetization in Canada. Right? YouTube has it, but YouTube's I don't know what works on YouTube, because things that have gotten 30 million views on Instagram or Facebook have gotten 500 views on YouTube. Right? And you're like, what? And things blow up. I've literally had the same reel get millions of views on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and get 500 views on YouTube. And I'm like, I get there's different audiences, but if 3 out of the 4 blow up to over 1 million and one doesn't get 500, the algorithm's broken.
Or do you think it's a saturation problem, since that's one of the newest short video ones, and since it's catered towards people who already make a ton of video content? I do wonder if it's a saturation thing, because I've never seen the same short twice, ever, advertised to me, and on Instagram, I see the same shit over and over and over, and even on TikTok
God, it's
sometimes.
so frustrating. Mm-hmm. So frustrating to say the same. On Facebook is the worst. And I know there's way more reels, but I'll see the same part of a single movie 15 fucking times. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I did watch that the full 30 seconds the first time. And then I realized I will say it did make me go watch a movie, because I watched enough parts of it and I went, fuck it, I just want to see the whole thing. And I'm going to make that my CLAMPmendation.
That's the thing. Things that you've You've watched it once, so you're going to want to watch it again. But no, I've already seen it. Why would I want to watch it again?
Oh, that's a YouTube thing for sure.
Mm.
But apparently their shorts aren't like that. I don't know. All I gotta say is you gotta diversify, right? And it's the same. Say you are a product maker and you make one product. Well, that's great. But if you put all your eggs in that one product and you never try and develop a new product, just think of like all the farriers when the car was invented, right? Like everyone who was making horseshoes, all of a sudden, oh, that's no longer like as needed as it once was.
Yeah.
The thing that I just keep thinking about and coming back to is that it is so much work to diversify. So, like, I always understand why people don't, or they just try to keep everything in one place. Like, especially with the like tech and electronics people, I really notice like now it's like I have a GitHub, you can find everything there, and like I'll have an Instagram I post on like twice a year. It's
Right.
just sort of, I don't know. It's
Well,
like
it's the same with
people who are competitive, I think, are into it, and everybody else doesn't care as much.
Yeah, why don't we explain
GitHub.
to our audience what GitHub is?
Okay, so
Not me. Don't explain it to me. I know 100%
GitHub
what
is
it is.
basically
Explain it to me, and I'm 5.
Okay, so GitHub is basically a library where you put all the different pieces of your projects, and you have sort of like a project page where you can see a project, and then you can go into the different libraries of STL files, INO files, like whatever you need to complete the project. It's just all very categorized. And so I guess the
I'm
way
even
you
more
could really
confused.
explain it is that it's sort of like Instructables without steps, but with all the documentation you need to make it, if that makes sense.
Is it like coding? I always thought it was coding.
Yes. There is coding, but I mean, it's not just that. Like, yeah, people upload the code for stuff, but they're also uploading STLs and showing like in process photos. Like it's just so comprehensive compared to everything else because
So that
yeah.
you said there's no instructions?
Not on all of them. Like
Right.
GitHub, it's sort of like you have a knowledge of electronics to end up here. Like you came here for a reason, so surely you have like the basic information because you're not like some people are really great and they will write out a full tutorial and link to a YouTube video and do all this stuff. But a lot of people are like, print this shit and then plug in your Arduino,
Assemble it.
upload this code. Yeah, it's like so basic because yeah.
It's funny because a couple of the prints that I've printed for this motorbike video that I'm doing are multiple pieces. Like right now, I've got this like chain that I'm trying to put together. There was no instructions on how to put it together.
Yeah.
And there's literally like so many little pieces that I have to like put together, like cogs and chain links and everything. And I've only just worked out how it goes together. So now I know what I'm doing, but there's no instructions on the actual print. There's no instructions like on the page.
Yeah. So there's 2 reasons for that. One is the person's lazy and they just wanted a place to find it later. The second is someone found it somewhere else and uploaded it for fake internet.
Exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. But say like
That's
and
it.
like say Printables, for instance, right? If you go onto Printables, you get 10 points for uploading a print. You don't get any extra credit for putting in how to put it together. So they're just wanting to get their points up so they can get the free filament or whatever, or like they're not trying to be informative, they're just trying to get the print uploaded.
I guess.
Yeah.
I think
but
you
the
can
good
get
thing
more
about
points.
Printables- Oh, go ahead, Greg.
You get more points for every time someone downloads the print.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm level 6. I'm a level 6 Printables wizard.
I have 10
I don't
points.
know. Maybe 3? I'm not very high.
I've uploaded 1 print and that is all.
Yeah, but the good thing about Printables though is that it like surfaces the good stuff unless you do like a really weird search. Like you mostly just see good stuff. I enjoy it.
You know what's funny is that I actually preferred Thingiverse until everyone started bagging on him in our Discord. And then I went onto Printables and actually used it properly because like I always just thought Thingiverse was the one to go to, so it's always what I went to. And I went on Printables. Oh my god, it's so much better.
Printables is so much better. So Thingiverse was the original, but they put all their eggs in one basket. No, somebody bought it. So somebody bought Thingiverse and just spammed it with ads, and it became just a place for ads. Pretty much. Yeah. So putting right now, I have been really focused on Facebook Reels again because this is the time period that I made a lot of money last year, and so I'm like, I wonder if lightning can strike twice, and it's judging by the fact that the other day I put out a video that was a repost of a repost, and I made $400 on that day. I would say yes, lightning can strike twice. It's not the last time I posted it. I think I got 15 million views, and this time I got 1.5 million. But considering it's a repost, so I did nothing. It's pretty good.
I was wondering why you reposted.
Yeah. So I'm also
I was watching. Wait a minute.
I'm reposting it to Instagram sometimes. Yeah.
Well, it's funny what you say about not being able to claim money or whatever for things in Canada. Everything is based on assuming that everyone is from America.
Yeah.
Like everything, really sponsorships and everything. And it's so frustrating. I mean, I haven't got big enough to find out about monetization and stuff and what you can do in Australia. I know a few Aussie makers that could probably chime in and message us or whatever and let me know what it's like. But even sponsorships and stuff, I've had companies reach out to me wanting to send me something, and then as soon as I tell them my address, I go, "Oh, sorry, we can't send outside of America." It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's all because of the American legalese written up by those companies. It makes me so frustrated. I have been dealing with that. I mean, I love you, Autodesk. Thank you for employing me. But I've been dealing with that since we got the Autodesk official rules at Instructables because, I mean, we were pretty crazy back in the day and we did not care where you were from. We would figure out a way to get it to you, and we didn't care how much we had to pay. We were going to get it to people. And now it's well, we can't do anything to Italy, nothing in Quebec. We can't do I don't know, so many. I think maybe Brazil is another country where we have a lot of authors, and it's just
what stops you from being able to send overseas?
So basically,
legal.
It's legal. It's
what's illegal?
And lottery and prize regulations in each
right?
country.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see how that stops sponsorships though.
Well, because it's the same sort of lawyer brains that are drafting all this up, and because most of these companies are based in the U.S., they have U.S. lawyers, and it just becomes U.S. specific because they don't want the liability. They don't want to have to deal with sending different types of products to different countries. It's a mess.
So it's being sued and paying taxes.
Yeah.
Those are the two things. So there's a lot of things about taxes and tax problems. And if you send something to someone in certain states or certain countries, they have to pay a bunch of taxes on it when they get it. And then it becomes all this free thing that you gave them costs them a bunch of money and they don't actually want it. Right.
Right.
And then there's a problem of being sued. So SawStop isn't in Europe because they're worried about being sued.
Yeah. I knew about that.
I mean, yeah, the health and safety there is the top of the world. I could understand.
Was it Europe's the country it's not allowed to use?
Europe's not a country, but yep.
No, but you know what I mean. They're not allowed to use the dado blades, right?
They are. It is.
Who is it?
So Europe has standards on dados that it's basically the standard is when you turn off a saw, it has to stop in a certain amount of time. Yeah. And if you add the dado staff
the weight of a dado,
would not allow them to stop. So they actually do sell saws that can accept dados. They're just rare because they're expensive. So as opposed to like I can go buy a Ryobi saw that has a giant ass arbor on it for no good reason, and I can slap a whole bunch of extra blades on there, and boom, I got myself a dado. Right?
Yeah.
Did anyone ever notice that a dado is a smaller blade? Well, it's a smaller blade,
Yeah.
so it doesn't spin up as much shit. Because you probably aren't going to cut 3-inch deep dados.
Well, isn't it? Dado is like every second one is like one straight bit, right? It's not a full disc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for the same reason.
Yeah.
Right? The outside ones are full, and then any inside one. So if you went like a 3/4 inch one, usually has 2 outside ones are full. The inside one's 3, like, quarter of a blade weight. But all that to say is it's like that so that it's less weight, but it's still a lot of weight. Like when I hook up my 3/4 inch dado and I put all that shit all together, it spins for a long time after I stop it. Right? Like a long time. You're like, oh, fuck, this is annoying. Like this is the type of thing that you go, should I just like put a piece of wood in there to stop it?
Oh my God.
Sometimes you just gotta
Just
grinder, probably. I do it with the grinder. The grinder's so annoying, especially because if you don't have the little shield on it, because then you can't put it down on the shield side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or you forget, and then it just flies along the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
Try to set it down. Yeah.
Or the drop saw, hold it down and put a piece of wood up against the side of the blade. I've done that a few times.
Oh.
I've never done that.
Did it shoot it back out at you? Because that sounds.
Why would you need to stop the saw?
Why would it? Because I needed to change the measurement to cut something else.
See, I was thinking you start like a miter saw blade and then you put a 2x4 up against it. I was just thinking that would shoot it.
No, drop saw.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
miter saw.
I missed this.
What's a drop saw? Yeah, you're right. Miter saw, drop saw, same thing.
Oh, same thing.
Well, not the same.
All right.
Yeah. I was thinking you were saying the hand
circular saw.
Yeah.
So, is there any benefits to putting all your eggs in one basket?
I don't think so. Maybe
that I can think of.
No.
So I will be the devil's advocate and say yes, because I was hoping for some conversation, but apparently I got none.
Conversation about focus, but not.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you put more focus and more energy into that, but
and the efficiencies. Right, you learn how one system works. You could do so. I abandoned TikTok because it wasn't monetized. I wasn't seeing any return. Every company I talked to said, "I don't give a flying fuck how big your TikTok is." Right?
Yeah.
They're like, "How big are you on Instagram?" Right? Instagram, we care about. YouTube, how big are you YouTube? Right? Oh, you're 40,000 on TikTok. Go fly a kite. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you got 1 million followers on TikTok. Yeah, so do all my neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I dropped it because I was like, I don't want to waste time. And it's probably I should continue to do it, and I'll bring up Brian House again. I don't have a product to sell. The only product I have is content.
Is you.
And TikTok, I was seeing zero getting someone off one system into another. I could get on a video that I had a YouTube video about. I've gotten I probably across all the different times I've reposted reels, probably 50 million views on a video, on part of a video that has, I think, 1,000 views.
Oh man, I hate that.
Right. So one part of a big video has 50 million views, and in it says, "Go check out the YouTube video," and the YouTube video has 1,000 views. So
yeah, clearly no one does.
Right, because it doesn't. Nobody wants to see the full video, and I understand that. But if I was selling that knife that I was making, perhaps I could get I could have sold a bunch. I know I could have because people asked me to buy a knife.
Well, and that's the thing. Even if you sold one, that's made it worthwhile.
I don't think I got a single YouTube video watch from TikTok.
Yeah.
I think something also really important to remember in terms of a lot of the social media app platforms is that they are not user friendly and they want you to do everything in the app. If you try to leave the app,
Right.
you always get
Oh,
a warning, or you
Mm.
can't click the link that people put in because they are actively trying to keep everyone in the app. I mean, think about how many fucking ads for shops on Instagram are on Instagram. It is
right.
overwhelming these days. And that's the reason I think I'm so pissed about the downfall of Twitter. That was like one of the
The
only
only place.
places where, yeah, you could post the links and get engagement and have people share your stuff, and it was all easy. And it's like I just miss that so much because it's damn near impossible to get people to click outside of the app now. I mean, I do it all day long every day, and I would tell you we probably some days get less than 100 clicks outside of all of our content, which is so stupid.
I know this. I know this for a fact because when we had you on the first time, you posted,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of views we got above normal did not equate to the amount of likes we got on the post of, and shares and stuff. And I was like, what's happening here? Like, I don't understand. You got, like, at the time you had like Instructables, you'd like repost it on across all the different Instructables,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just take your biggest one as the number that counts, because I assume it's the same people like clicking across all the different platforms, right? But they're like clicking, I assume there's a lot of crossover between where they follow people. But yeah, it was a great episode, more than double or normal, but not 200,000 people, right? And this is where it's like getting people to watch anything. And it's the same with, like, bringing up Brian House again. He talks about like podcasting.
I knew.
You can just see it.
It's the same as I'm just like Brian House again.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea for the thumbnail. Grant and
You just go marry him already.
So no, but like he has such good insight and stuff.
That's our reel right there.
Anyways, no. I was gonna say it's like podcasting is something that like you got to have a podcast. He talks about it because you're reaching different people and you're reaching them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I've talked to him about. Like a podcast is intimate. The people you talk to on a podcast, you are there. You're with them. They are your people. They're not the 50,000 people I have on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't care. Right? I talked to like Chris Powell, Full Steam Designs. He just passed 100,000 on YouTube. Right? He can't get. I can't. And they have a good podcast too. The makeshift podcast, and I know their numbers aren't even up to our numbers. I'm like, no, they should be. And they got big people on there, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's because podcasts are intimate and they're a commitment. So everyone who's listening to this, like, they're all committed to listening to what we have to say, and they think we have some value. And this would have been if it wasn't really early in the episode, would have been a great time to transition.
Well, I thank our Patreon supporters anyway. But we'll keep going on with the episode.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what? We're going to do a mid-shout Patreon thing, and then we're going to go back to the discussion.
And
I don't want to thank...
after this.
Perfect. I want to thank our F-Clamp level, especially Scott from Daddy Yourself DIY, Joe Herdina, Rich from Lowen Designs, David Wood from DW Wood Builds, Brad from I'm Gonna Make, Chad from Chad's Custom Creations. I'm gonna wake. Is that about wakeboarding? Is that about wake and bake? I don't know what it is, but he's gonna do it. Before you go. If you feel like you got a little bit of value out of this episode, please consider going over to patreon.com/clamp and signing up there. We do really appreciate everyone who signs up there. It's as little as $1 an episode. We really wanted to switch over to the monthly instead of episode, but Patreon is about as user-friendly as every of the other apps we've talked about and isn't allowing us to. But if you do go over to patreon.com/clamp, apparently there's a way to sign up for free right now. You can access to pre-show, after-show, Discord, Hangouts, which we need to do very soon for November. And I think because they're so very widely attended, we may stop doing that for a while. And you also get a keychain made by me, and the people who get the keychain do appreciate them, unlike the Discord chats. But yeah, you can go over to patreon.com/clamp.
CLAMPmendations.
No CLAMPmendations. No CLAMPmendations.
I fixed them.
I had to like stop myself. Oh my god.
You're going on
Okay.
with a rant, and I'm like, oh, yes.
So,
All right,
the
Jesse.
topic idea, yeah. So I was just over here thinking about how much easier it was to diversify back in the day.
Oh, interesting.
Like everyone had a Blogspot blog, and you could network with other Blogspot people. Tumblr was huge. Like back in the very beginning of when I was working at Instructables, I had a huge Tumblr that I was posting to all the time because, I was reaching a whole different community of people there. And like, I don't know, since Facebook sort of died for me and many other people, I just feel like it's really limiting because on Reddit, it's also a lot of assholes, and the communities have very specific rules, and there's a lot of stuff that you have to pay attention to post there and not get screamed at. So it's like, I just don't know really how people do it these days because I had a lot of leeway back in the day, and it was easy to just cross post to everything. So,
And I think so. I'm in a bunch of groups on Facebook, and you'll see people who just press a button that cross posts to everything. And those people are annoying. And you hate them because you're in like 5 groups with them. You say the same fucking post. And it's the same. And it's something I remember giving this advice to Adam a long time ago about Reddit was one day he had like he released a video, and it was like your one Reddit post that blew up. Some outdoor table. Yeah.
Yeah, outdoor table, yeah.
So the only problem is
one time I've ever had like excitement from blow up. Like it was massive.
Right. It was massive on Reddit, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at it and like I logged on to Reddit and I saw your post 5 fucking times because you posted it across 5 groups that I follow, and I'm like, you should spread them out. And this is like part of the thing is that people tried to find efficiencies in diversification because it became one. It was easier back then, but it was also harder. And the return on investment back then was better.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe that's why I don't get as frustrated about it. Because back then, like, you did it, but you saw something from it. And now you do all the things, and you're screaming into like a black hole of scam artists and fake fitness stuff. Oh.
Why do you think it was harder before? Do you think it's because it was before everyone learned how things work?
It was harder because they've made it easier to cross post. There's apps that do it for you.
Yeah.
Right. But with that becomes people who do it lazily.
Yeah.
Right. When I cross post between Instagram and Facebook, I go to Facebook immediately and I edit it and I make it Facebook. Right. So I have all the pictures auto poured in, but like anywhere I say click in bio, I instead take out the click in bio and I change it to the fucking link because a link works on Facebook. It doesn't work on Instagram. Right. And so I do those things because I'm not lazy. But you see people who like post this and they post it on 15 fucking groups, click the link in bio, and I'm like, there's no fucking bio. There's no bio here. There's no link. Like, what the fuck am I clicking on?
Yeah.
Idiot.
That is one of my most hated things on the internet. People that can't be
Napoleon Dynamite
to do like the right thing for each platform. It makes me crazy. Because so many times it's like big companies too that have someone that is not literate on all of the platforms, but they have one giant fucking thing like Sprout where you just schedule to everything and you do it the same every time. Like that was why social media used to take me so fucking long is we were posting on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then it's like you have to make sure, the posts look nice on each. The photos have different aspect ratios. And like, it's just so much to think about. And if you do it well, it takes goddamn forever. And if you do it badly, everyone tends to ignore you. So I'm not even sure it's
Yeah.
worth doing badly.
Well, and they so there was apps out there that used to allow you to do things like change the aspect ratio easily
Mm-hmm.
of a bunch of edited, like Canva and Adobe Spark or whatever it used
PicMonkey
to be.
was another one. Adobe
Right.
Express.
They used,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, it's gone through like 16 different names, but uh,
It
it
has.
used to be like you could just press a button and it would change it, and they realized that that was something they could monetize.
Yep. Yeah, that's a paid feature on Canva now.
That, yeah,
Of course
and
it
it
is.
didn't use and well, Canva was always a paid feature. It's why I used Adobe, and Adobe it
Oh, okay.
wasn't. And now Adobe said, "Well, that's the thing people are paying for on Canva, so let's just put every single thing that Canva does, we'll do too." And this collusion or something. Like I don't understand what's happening here.
But also, I'm going to be shitty again about people who take those shortcuts. Those resizers are not great yet. This is another thing that makes me
Oh,
crazy. If you use one of those and it gives you a different canvas size and keeps your like all of your shit
oh, I
that you
know.
designed right in the middle, you didn't do anything. That looks like shit. Like it makes
Right?
me
No,
crazy.
I agree with you, and I would always take it, press the button, and then at least I didn't have to copy paste all the shit that I designed. Right? That's
Yeah.
and then I would just be able to resize it and like move it
Resize
around and do
things.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I would do. But now I have to like re-import every single like different element of my design back into a new Instagram specific design versus the YouTube thumbnail design. I'm like, can just people just fucking pick a goddamn thing like we would recommend they do with CLAMPmendations?
CLAMPmendations.
So, as I previously mentioned, I saw a bunch of stuff on Reels that was about Ford versus Ferrari. And this is actually like the GT40, which is the Ford car, is my favorite car. If I could have one car for the rest of the world, it would be a GT40. And I never watched the movie when it came out, and it's a great movie. It's got Matt Damon and Christian Bale and the Punisher's in it, but he plays like a small role. And yeah, so it's a great movie. I think anyone who is interested in racing or cars or just like an interesting, like, I don't know, it's like it is history, but they obviously combine like a bunch of storylines into one to make it more compelling of a movie,
Yeah.
right? Like, so some of the things aren't quite right, but it is a very interesting. A lot of it is true. It's just not the timeline that they put out there, but it's a great movie, and the GT40 is the best car in the world.
I'm now wondering if Tyler has seen that. I will have to ask him. He loves the racing movies. So my recommendation for this week is the Instructables Halloween contest. Judging is finally over. We closed it out, announced the winners yesterday, which also shout out Penelope Bulnick, aka Nicole. That was a lot to do and you did it. Yay. But this year's entries are freaking fantastic. I adore pretty much everything in here. It was super hard to judge and pick finalists. But especially, I really like the alien chest burster. That one is very fun. The simple wooden skeletons, I think that was Heck Yes Art's first Instructable, and it's absolutely gorgeous to look through. And then there's one more. Oh, so Garage Avenger, who
Yes.
most people probably know from YouTube, but I know him from Instructables. His Teddy Monster Halloween costume, I loved it. It's so good. It's just so cute to see a kid in something so terrifying. So yeah, I would just really recommend scrolling through them, having a look because they're really good this year, and I wish we could have give like everybody who entered a prize because I loved everything.
Yeah. So I don't think we've had him on the podcast, but I've been on his podcast. Um,
Oh, okay.
but he doesn't do the podcast anymore. At least not. I don't. He doesn't do it regularly if he does it at all.
Mhm.
But I was actually just chatting with him the other day because on Amazon was like one of his like inventions was on Amazon now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if there was a concurrent thinking or whatever, but he developed like a lazy Susan for
Yes.
elongated table,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
I saw one on Amazon. And I said, I sent it to him. I was like, I think somebody took your inspiration from your design, right? And he was happy if that's what they did. But yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's Australian.
I,
Did you know that?
yes.
Yes, but he doesn't live in Australia.
He
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't. But yeah, I know he's Australian because on a lot of his projects, I don't. Sometimes, if I'm just scrolling really fast, I get distracted reading and not looking at it, and I kind of like have to go back up and watch the video. And his videos are great too. Like he's really funny, so they're very entertaining to watch.
35 prizes is a lot of prizes.
Yeah, we added we added more because it was. I think it was Thursday of last week, maybe. Nicole was like, "What do you guys think if we add on more runner-ups at least, so more people can get something?" So, yeah.
Also, you guys got down to 8th place.
Okay,
It
so
used to be first, second, and third, and then there was like, what's happening here?
so that is a limitation of our contest page because Halloween is like the one contest outlier that doesn't, fit all of the parameters we have, and we can't rename the prizes officially right now. So what all of those actually are epic costume, easy costume, kids costume, prop, decoration, and food. Like the prizes for those categories, like I guess kind of the
Gotcha.
grand prize. Yeah, but because we don't have the ability to name each prize tier right now, it looks real weird. Yeah.
Okay. It does look very weird.
I know.
And I was like, usually they're up at the beside grand prizes, like the extra special
Yep.
prizes, like judges
Yeah.
prize or.
Yeah, because we had
Okay.
so many judges prizes, sadly, it's just
Gotcha.
we'd always build it for a regular contest, and then Halloween runs around, and we're like, oh, well, we'll just do what we gotta do.
So these people got 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd are all special prizes or not? I'm confused.
Yes, those are all the special prizes. Only first and second are our normal ones. So yeah,
And grand.
3 through 8 is
Okay.
these special judges prizes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's a mess. This is what happens when you have too much good stuff and you just go nuts and you break the site.
So I assume the Halloween costume Garage Avengers is the kids prize.
Yes,
Kids
that
costume.
one is for kids.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
'cause-
congratulations, congratulations, buddy. Adam.
Yeah. My CLAMPmendation is a YouTuber I found recently called Matt Spears. He's only got 13,500 subscribers. He has videos from like 2 years ago where he used to look like he uploaded stuff, but he stopped uploading for about 2 years, and then the last 3 months has put out 7 videos. But he's like over the top with with motorbikes. So he got a Honda Goldwing and took it off road. He's a off road motorbiker. And then last 2 videos, they got a Hayabusa and put off-road tires, like dirt bike tires and stuff on it, and took it off-road. So pretty cool. Like for someone who's fairly new to making this sort of content, his videos are really well made.
That's a lot of views too. That's awesome.
Yeah. And he deserves them. He needs more subscribers.
So this is one of those things that I look at and go, I was always I put all my all my eggs into my original. Like I'm going to talk about it this way, but I put all my eggs into my original YouTube thing because I started out with X number of subscribers, and I always felt like that was stupid of me. I should have just started a new channel. But I feel like today, if you have an old channel, just rebrand it. Do whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's what I did with mine.
Yeah, I know, but You haven't got
I said
410,000
it's
views.
fine for everyone else.
No, I'm just saying, like, you can do it. You can do it. You haven't done it yet. You haven't
You can
got
do it.
400,000. When you get all those views, then we can talk about how great a job you did.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, like, you could do
Watch
it.
this
Don't worry
space.
about it. I will be watching bicker, and no problem. Jesse, ask us anything.
Oh, sorry. I told you my brain's soup. Okay, so Ask Us Anything tonight is from DW Woodbuilds. What is your favorite screw thread type for clamp? We had a discussion about this before we started recording, and I actually learned something tonight because I was like, what the hell? What does that mean? And Grant explained to us. Do you want to explain it again, or should I paraphrase?
Sure. Yeah, no, so she was like, what do you mean screw thread type? And I was like, well, there's like different types of screw threads. There's like fine threads and coarse threads and like the Acme thread. And like, they're different types of threads and they have positives and negatives. And yeah, that's basically what I said. And then I explained what my favorite thread screw type is, but I will default to everyone else first.
So I guess I will just say I always chose the chunkiest one because I could clamp it faster. In the before times, before I knew that you could get better placement with smaller threads. Yeah.
So, as I said before we started recording today, I didn't even know that they came with different size threads. So, I mean,
Right.
look, all of my clamps. I know you said brands have different size threads as well, but all of my clamps are the same clamps, just different lengths. Like they're literally all F clamps, and there's like 30 mil, 60 mil, 300 mil, 600 mil, and 1000 mil lengths. That's it. That's all I've got. And then like spring clamps. That's it. I don't have any like different brands and stuff. I mean, I suppose my pipe clamp that I had that it used to be a vise on my desk probably has a different thread, but I never noticed because I've never really used it as a clamp.
So I would say my favorite screw thread type for clamps is probably an Acme thread, but I don't know.
Which is what?
I'm with Jesse. I just want the thickest one possible. I have some that have thin, like fine threads. Yeah, that's how I like it. I like it as thick as possible. All the way. It's just like in long too. Because sometimes like you're screwing it, it just doesn't quite get the length you need. And if it's not thick enough and not long enough, like if it's thin and like long, it just takes forever. But if it's thick and long, like it's done and you're good to go. And it's done real quick, and I'm all about the efficiency when it comes to that.
Ooh, that was the longest double entendre we've ever had happening.
The longest one you guys know about. But I want to thank TF Turning for the theme song. If you want to find us, you can find us all on the internet. The other thing I want to say is by the time this drops, we're going to have merch available. So if you have a clamp head that you want to buy a Christmas gift of a clamp shirt for, or some other merch that will be available, we are going to have a link from this podcast in going forward where you can find it in the show notes. Or if you go to clampcast.com, you can find a link to our merch store, which is put on by the George Supply Co. And there's going to be some t-shirts are the things that I have so far. And I think there's going to be, well, I know for me, if you want a Grant Alexander t-shirt, there's going to be one of those. I've asked Jesse and Adam to also put forward something so that you can get the trifecta of different logos on your shirts, or you can get a clamp logo. And we're going to have that available.
That's a good idea, actually, to have a shirt with all three of our logos.
Well,
I was going to say,
maybe
will be happening. Hopefully.
No, never. I've given up on it. It's never happening.
No, it's
Uh,
gonna be like a Christmas present.
Okay.
Something. I know, I'm horrible.
So, anyways, if you want to get the little spring clamp on your chest, go to the link that's going to be in the show notes or on clampcast.com. Hopefully that's the email address or the thing, clampcast.com. Is that where we are? That's where we are, clampcast.com. That's where you need to go. There's going to be a thing that says merch, and you can go there and find it and order some merch, and it's going to be great. And I'm very excited. And there's going to be orange T-shirts for mine. You can only get it in orange. I'm not letting anyone buy non-orange shirts. So Justin, if you're listening, Justin, if you're listening, I expect you to buy one. And with that, I want to say goodbye, and we'll see you all in the after show.
Bye.
Bye.